anyway, let me introduce Sandra Kennedy. She was voted Outstanding Young Woman of America in 1984. So that's going back 36 years, 37 years. She started her public service in 1986. She was elected to the Arizona House for 6 years. Spent 3 terms as state in the Arizona State Senate, starting in 1992. Some of her legislation was in domestic violence, shelters, foster care, etc. She was first elected to the Corporation Commission in 2008 on a solar energy platform. She was now reelected in 2018 on a platform of restoring integrity and having to do with rate increases, renewable energy, solar, etc. So, Sandra, if you could take it away, I know there's a lot more you could talk about.
Thank you, Paul, for that introduction. You had it perfectly correct. I know some of the information I probably should take off my dossier because it's a little aged, but maybe it's okay. But it's good to be with the Green Valley Democrats today. And I just appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about what we're doing at the commission. I am just probably excited that everybody knows what the Incorporated Commission is and what we do. And most people tell me, well, we don't know what the Corporation Commission is. And most people have come to Arizona from other states. So the Corporation Commission is the Public Utilities Commission. So if you've come from another state, it is your PUC. Why they named it the Arizona Corporation Commission back during statehood, I have no idea. But it was created. In fact, it was only one of 15 that was created and placed in the Constitution. So the Arizona Corporation Commission is constitutionally formed. Nobody appoints us unless you leave your office after you get elected. You get appointed by the governor, but the governor can't tell you what to do. The legislature can't tell you what to do, although the legislature has tried to take our authority away this legislative session. Now, you have many utilities that provide service to you. You've got the community water of Green Valley. I believe their last rate case was in 2015. You've got Farmers Water. Now, that rate case was finished in June of 19. And I was, well, myself and Commissioner Burns at the time were the 2 no votes on that water case. Now, and you've got, let's see, Quail Creek Water Company, Sahuarita Water Company. You've got CenturyLink as your phone or internet provider. And then you've got TEP, excuse me, as your power provider. If I miss anything, I'm pretty sure you all will tell me. I think I may have missed one. Is it Las, and I may not be pronouncing it correctly, Quintas Serena's Water Company?
Serena's Water Company, yes.
Okay, so that's one. And I believe their last rate case was in 2013. So it's been a while for most of these companies. So, and most of the small water companies do not like to come into the commission to get, to file for rate cases because, number one, they say it takes a lot of time for them to put the cases together, and they don't like the fact that it takes time and money for them to put the cases together. So most of them stay out much longer than they should. I say the longer they stay out, the more shock rate it is to the ratepayer and what the ratepayer has to pay. And most of the time you will find me voting no on rate cases like that because companies should not stay out. They should come and give the commission an opportunity to say yes or no. They should have an increase or actually have a decrease. So just a little history on the commission. And I think I told you that the formation of the commission was in 1910, and it was done at the state constitutional convention. And Arizona is embedded in the Constitution. If there are any changes to the Arizona Corporation Commission and its elected body, it has to be changed by the Constitution. You can find us in Article 15 of the state Constitution, and there we are defined as the ACC, our powers, and our authority. The Arizona legislature is one of few states that elects, Arizona is one of few states that elects its commission. Most commissions are appointed by the governor or voted in by their legislature. The commission has judicial, executive, and legislative powers. We are probably the most powerful commission in this country. And I say that not very lightly. We are probably more powerful than the governor of the state. The commission regulates electric, gas, water, and sewer companies throughout Arizona. We regulate nearly 300 small water companies, regulate railroads, telecommunications, pipelines, securities, and I consider us the bank if you want to start a new company. That is where you do your incorporation, you file your documents with the Arizona Corporation Commission. Just a little bit on the energy rules. We have, you've probably been reading this week how the commission voted the energy rules down. Unfortunately, the staff spent nearly 4 years of putting this energy policy together. I talked about what I wanted to see in an energy policy when I ran for the commission. And I actually put together a proposed policy rule. My policy rule would have, well, the current policy rule, now I'll try to do it side by side so that you'll understand it. The current rules, which is in docket 18-0284, says that there will be 50% carbon emission reduction by 2032. My plan would have been 50% renewable energy by 2028. Are we kicking the can down the road just a little bit? Yeah, just a little bit. But it's a compromise to move the energy rules forward. The current rules say 75% carbon emission reduction by 2040. My rules call for 75% clean energy by 2035. So there are a lot of rules or rule making that we could do to make Arizona more friendly when it comes to renewable energy. But with the lay of the commission by having 2 Democrats and 3 Republicans, we are not going to get anything done. Basically, what the majority did, and I'm going to say Republicans, what they did at the commission this week was, in essence, to kill the renewable energy policy. And they did that. Commissioner Tovar and I voted no. And Commissioner Olson, who is an anti-renewable energy, he doesn't want anything, period, because he thinks the energy policy is going to cost people a lot of money. You know, that's just what they use to scare people. It's a scare tactic. You all know this. I know I'm probably just singing to the choir, but when we're talking about changing Arizona, creating new policy, we're talking about changing policy for my children, my children's children, and their children. And if we don't do anything now, today, we are not addressing the climate issues. And the climate issues also deal with water. So we have got to deal with those issues. We're in the desert for a reason, and we call it the desert for a reason. We need to be conserving our consumption. But as the Republicans continue to do, they think that they can use water and continue to use as much water as they want to. For those of you who have been following the legislature this year, there were a couple of bills that tried to strip the commission's authority. They say that we have no business, we have no rate-making authority when it comes to renewable energy. The courts have stated over and over and over that we have the authority to create energy policy, and we can do that through our rate-making ability. If you all, again, if you feel my pain, you will understand the need to elect two Democrats. Myself, I am running for re-election, and a second Democrat. And I'm going to probably throw out a name, and I probably shouldn't do that. But there will be a new name on of interest who will probably be running with me in the next few days, and that will be Lauren Kuby. She is a current city council member of the city of Tempe, and I think she is going to make a great running mate, and she will make a great commissioner. I am looking forward to running with her. I want to talk just a little bit about the disconnection rules, because we have disconnection rules now because of, unfortunately, APS, Arizona's largest utility company, disconnected one of their customers because she was short in paying $51. And I say that because, and I don't say it lightly, because I get very upset and angry because she died from the heat, because APS is greedy, and I'm assuming with all the money they've collected from their ratepayers, they just needed that $51. But we have new rules, and we have emergency rules, disconnection rules in place, and they prohibit companies from disconnecting customers due to unpaid bills during the very hot months of the summer. It is June 1st through October 15th. We enacted those emergency rules. We are currently working on permanent rules for the commission, and those rules have gone to the Secretary of State for her approval. And you cannot turn off anyone if the temperature in Arizona or anywhere in Arizona is 100 degrees. I was trying to get 90 degrees, because science shows that 90 degree, you can save people at 90 degrees. Once it goes to 91, we start losing people due to heat deaths. So the fight was good. I did my best, but ultimately I voted for the current rules because, or the rules that have been proposed that have to be approved by the Secretary of State. I did not want to look short-sighted, because I think that the disconnection rules are important. What I may do at this time is maybe stop. There may be areas of concern that you would like for me to address that I would like to at least take some time and have the time to at least answer those questions. So maybe I'll stop there and take some questions.
George, do you have any questions?
Yes. Copper. Copper is queen in Arizona. And how much mining regulation or control does the corporate ACC have over the mining corporations in Arizona?
When did you come
Well,
home?
we don't necessarily, George, have authority to regulate them, but we do have the authority to regulate the water usage. And I know that there are a couple of companies south in southern Arizona that I have actually written letters to the federal government in opposition to them actually continuing their company because of the use of water and some other things that they're doing down there. But that is about as much as the commission gets involved in those companies.
Along the railroad lines, I know you guys set standards for tracks and power and equipment. Who visually checks for those hazards in those locations along the tracks? And do you have any way of setting rules for that to get done?
Absolutely, we do. We have engineers that go out. There's a schedule. We have a list of all the railroad crossings and all the grade crossings, and they are to be serviced and maintained every so many years. So there's a schedule where the engineers go out and they check to make sure that they are proper and in working conditions. If they are not, then we go to either the city or the county or whomever is responsible. Some of them are private crossings. We have to go and tell them also that here are the gradings. This is what needs to be done so that they are proper and stay in working fashion. So yes, we're doing that. We are short-staffed. We actually got an update about a month or so ago that we had just hired a new engineer, but we still need 3 more. And we have 5 positions for the whole state of Arizona. Now, mind you, we are the Corporation Commission, and we get our funds from the legislature. The legislature has refused, and I'm not kidding you, has refused for the last 10 years to fully fund the Corporation Commission, because what the governor has intended to do was strip us of our powers and move the railroad industry or the railroad division from the commission to ADOT. But we've held on tight, and I've done my best to fight that fight.
Well, along those same lines as railroad, when hazardous products are shipped on the railroad, what regulations are you in charge as far as reporting to the cities and the towns along those tracks about those shipments?
And that is actually a good question, because I wrote a letter, actually, I believe it was last August, asking ADOT and the cities to help us update what is being transported on those rails from one state to another, from one county to another, and which cities are affected as they are moving about. And if you are in tune or you heard about the incident that happened not once but twice in Tempe, And I have been working very hard with the city of Tempe and their administration to make sure those kinds of incidents don't happen again. I know the rail company, I think they thought that they would be able to get by with not notifying the state and notifying ADOT, but they kind of got caught. So we want to make sure that does not happen again.
I know because of the open meeting laws, you have to have approved meetings, and I know your staff worked very hard. Do you ever have open meetings in Tucson or in outlying towns for those reviews?
You know, with the pandemic, we have not gone out since last year, but we used to travel. The commissioner used to travel to hear rate cases and to take public testimony. So now we're taking public testimony by phone and by video. And it's really, to me, it's disheartening, and it's not inviting, so that the ratepayers, the very customers who are going to be affected, are not being heard. So what you're hearing is one-sided, and that's from the companies. So I would encourage you and everybody, when you find out that your company has come to the commission to ask for a rate increase, to get involved. And I try to do my best to notify as many people. You know, I call chairs and I say, get the word out as fast and as quickly as you can, so that people can get notified. I discovered the other day that there was a notice of a rate case that they put in the Arizona Business Gazette. And I said, okay, tell me how many of your customers read the Business Gazette. And it was like mums was the word. I mean, I didn't get an answer. So I just asked the companies to do their best, whether they're sending an individual letter, whether it's on their website, whether they're texting their ratepayers. They've got to get that information out, because I want to know if the ratepayers know what these folks are asking for.
Are any of those rate cases posted on ACC website?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. In fact, the current ones, the ones that we're going through now, are posted. And if anybody is interested in watching any of the past videos of these cases, all you got to do is go to the ACC website. You can look at former or past meetings. I think it's what it says, past meetings. Click on it and just if you've got a glass of wine or a glass of beer or maybe a glass of water, you can sit and just be bored as you're listening and watching us as we do our jobs.
I hear you there. Well, Biden's bills, are a number of them, or at least the big one, is going to be on infrastructure and changes to our utility system. Are there any proposed changes in any of our power plants or transmission lines that the ACC will have jurisdiction over?
Well, I think one of the biggest items that I think will be kind of related to the commission is electric vehicle charging stations. And what the president wants to do with electric vehicle charging stations, I wish you could see me. I'm clapping. I could probably be jumping up and down. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's going to be great for Arizona. We can encourage more electric vehicles, and we can encourage, not just encourage more electric vehicles, but we can encourage incentives. And I think that is what's important. We need incentives, not just for the vehicles, but if you're interested in owning a charging station, you can do that. They should not be run exclusively by the utilities. And I say that, and I think it's important. I think competition is important, and I think we need to be jumping up and saying, when do we start? When can we get it done? And I just appreciate the Biden administration for doing what he's doing. Now, when it comes to infrastructure for the utilities, we have not heard anything big yet, but we have been told that it's coming. So I'm just waiting patiently to see what the Biden administration is going to offer the utilities, other than what they can do to update the grid. They're talking about that now, but other than actual infrastructures for the utilities, we have not heard yet. But the update on the grid is going to be huge too for Arizona. And I think what the president is doing is going to create a lot of jobs. Maybe not a lot, maybe a ton of jobs. And looking at the number of jobs that was created last month, just in one industry, we're going to be booming for at least 4 to 8 years.
What jobs will be created, Sandra, specifically?
Okay. So when we're talking about infrastructure for EV charging stations, the charging stations have to be put up along the highways. Infrastructure has to be put up in the city somewhere. So they've got to be placed so that people who have electric vehicles can charge them. You don't necessarily have to charge them at home. If you don't have a charging station at home, you can at least drive up or pull up, just as we do at a gas station. Technology is changing every day. I heard just last week that you can charge an electric vehicle fully in less than 7 minutes.
Wow.
Now that is something. So those are the type of jobs that will be created. And as I say again, it's going to be hundreds of jobs because it's going to take people and manpower to get the infrastructure built.
Well, maybe you mentioned this, but what do you see happening with the cost of solar for us? What percentage might it go down or whatever?
You know what we are seeing every day, and I talked with even staff just yesterday about the cost of solar. Solar is going down so much every day. And to get my fellow Republicans to understand, they just want to continue the use of fossil fuel to help their buddies when, people have said to us, we want more renewable energy, please. We want energy efficiency, please. But again, until we change the commission and we have the majority at the commission, we're going to continue to have Republicans who want to operate and utilize fossil energy. So
It's all about money, isn't it?
Well,
it is.
one last question for you. I know you have 9 different divisions, which is a lot of work and a lot of work for your staff. Do you have an engineer on staff to do pipeline safety checks?
Yes.
Pipeline safety?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have engineers in our railroad division, engineers in our pipeline safety division. We have engineers in our utility and legal division. And they just hired an engineer in our hearing division so that the hearing division would have that experience when utilities come for their rate cases. So absolutely, we do.
What type of utility regulations might come out? There's a report to be put out by, I think it's CAP, on about the drought situation in throughout Arizona. What kind of response do you think is going to happen because of that drought report on the utilities?
Well, here is what I have, and this is with all rate cases that come before me. one of the questions I ask is conservation. What does your company do when it comes to conservation? We've got to change the way you look at things. You can't just continue to allow your customers, and especially the big users, to continue to use water without, having to really think about, how it's going to affect us, not just today, but tomorrow and our future. So it's an issue. It's an issue that I try to deal with on a case by case basis, because one size does not fit all. So I take each case and I try to deal with them separately. But conservation measures are important, and they are important for Arizona.
We do have a question, Sandra, on chat. And will the state charge consumers for each time they charge? I'm not sure what that means. Or will it be a fee on our bills? If I go to another state, do we pay by, I guess, credit card, CC? Not sure. Mallory, could you come on and explain that?
Yes, I was still stuck back on the electric vehicle charge thing because I don't know anything about it, but you kind of moved to a different topic, so I apologize.
Oh, but could you kind of clarify what your question was?
Oh, just, see, I have no idea how you pay for that when I go to plug in my vehicle or whatever. Is there a charge each time, or does it come onto my bill monthly or that kind of thing? And then when we go interstate travel and you plug into another state's electricity, what happens?
So how's the charging work as far as paying for it? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry. That was confused with electrical charging, wasn't it? Okay.
Okay. Sandra, do you have an answer for that?
I've got it, and it's a great question, Miss Mallory. So if you've got a credit card or you've got a debit card, or you want to purchase I'm trying to think of the name of what they call the card. Each company wants to have their own little card, but it's not going to be mandated that you have their card. You can use a debit card. You can use your credit card. All you got to do is slip it in, just like you do now when you go and gas up your car and you pay to get your gas for your vehicle. It's going to be just that simple. So it will not be a charge to your electric bill at your house. It will be totally separate.
Okay.
If you've got a charging station at your house, will there be a different rate for that type of electrical use?
Yes, it will. And they are trying to figure out, and I know TEP is working on this, is try to find what they're calling a bundle. So they want to make sure that if you have an electric vehicle and you're charging your vehicle at home, then that rate is going to even be cheaper than the rate that you will see at a charging station out on the street. Absolutely. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the Biden administration and what they're pushing. And I think change is coming.
I have a question out of ignorance. Where are most solar panels built right now? Or is that possible to do that here in Arizona?
Well, we had at one time in the East Valley here in Maricopa County a company that was manufacturing solar panels. Well, we're not really sure what happened, but that company went bankrupt. We think it was because of whatever taxation that the governor had set up with this company. Anyway, it didn't work. That company shut down. I'm told the building is still there, but they aren't manufacturing here. There is a company that wanted to come in, and they wanted to build a facility in Casa Grande. I have not heard the latest on it, but we're hoping that we can move more companies here to build solar panels and to create an opportunity for young kids who want to learn about the process of solar panels and how to build them, the engineering of it, is to create some type of partnership with some of the schools so that we can not just teach about it, but we can build more here in Arizona, and they can say Arizona made and made in the USA.
Where's the competition?
Well, competition right now is in Colorado and China.
Oh,
And a lot of the companies are using China's, it's some agreement, but now because of COVID and because of that, remember the barge that was stuck
right.
a month or so ago? I'm told that a lot of the equipment to build the panels here in the US has kind of gone, has taken a slow motion or almost at a standstill because that equipment has not reached the companies that have been charged to build those panels. So, and we're kind of at a standstill for building the batteries too. The backup batteries, they're on hold because of the equipment and the batteries that they use to build those batteries were coming from out of the country. So we're just trying, and I think the president is trying his best to build Arizona, not build Arizona, but to build America, where these types of equipment and utensils, maybe utensils is not the word to use, but equipment to build the right products here in not just Arizona, but the U.S.
Deb is now on. She can ask her question in person.
I have a couple of questions. The first one, going back to electric cars. We've got solar panels on our house that take care of all of our electricity. If we had an electric car and plugged it in here at home, could we increase the solar panels so that it would charge the car as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yes, in fact, that would be a plus for you.
It would, yeah. Mm-hmm. And because we are going to replace a car next year, and we're seriously looking at electric cars for doing that.
And if we could do something with net metering, that would help you also, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Well, that's why it's important that we elect 2 Democrats, not one, not send me back, but I need some help, and we need to make some changes at the commission. So we want to, my goal is to bring back a strong net metering policy.
Good.
That brings me to my other question, which is maybe not here, but could you email George or somebody a few talking points that would help us when we're talking to our friends and neighbors about how important it is to vote down ballot and in the midterms and to vote for 2 Democrats on the Corporation Commission. That would really help a lot because I talk to people all the time, and I'm always emailing my friends and neighbors about different things. And if I had a little bit more ammunition, if you will, I could maybe convince more people to vote down ballot.
I will do that. That will be number 1 priority for me, and I will get it done.
Yeah, send it my way, because that is a very important subject. I think Doug's up next.
Doug has a question, yes.
Well, I do, and it's on the subject just touched on. We have on our roof some solar panels, and I don't know that when Sandra listed all the utilities, she mentioned Trico. And Trico very kindly provides us with electricity when we need it and charges us some 13 cents and change per kilowatt hour. On the other hand, when I have my solar panels on the roof producing and it's in excess of what I'm using, they only give me under 8 cents a kilowatt hour. And I feel that that is a subject that might be up for discussion.
That's why, Doug, I said I think it's important that we talk about net metering and
Exactly.
what you get in return, and that is a priority for me. When net metering was first introduced, myself and Chris Mays wanted to make sure that all of those individuals who had solar installed were actually going to get paid for that power that they were producing and putting back on the grid. Well, as you have seen in the last 10 years, all the Republicans have done is rolled all that back to nearly nothing. We want to make sure that you as a customer, you as a power-driven customer who puts power to the grid because of what you generate, that you get your fair share. And we can do that through net metering. And I think that's the best way to go.
Well, there were people who were grandfathered to a net metering situation. But I mean, we did it in full knowledge of the fact that we were doing it for the good of the world rather than necessarily for our own pocketbook. But, it does seem like it's a subject that ought to be brought to the forefront. And the other thing is, like, obviously, the price of battery storage is coming down. And there'll come a point where I believe it'll be worth our while storing the electricity we generate in excessive usage rather than feed it back at the unfavorable rates that are presently in play.
You've got a chat in from Matthew
Yes.
about water.
Yes. What has to happen for the people of Arizona to get control of the groundwater away from the mines and agriculture? Sandra?
Well, unfortunately, that is not under the authority of the commission. It is really under the Department of Water Resources and the governor. And again, until we have a Democrat as governor who will appoint like-minded and like-thinking individuals to run that agency, we're going to continue to have the use of our groundwater just out of control. So that is probably a reason to elect a Democrat for governor.
I would think so.
Real quick question, speaking of election, Ann's got one more year on her term, and is that correct? And Tovar?
No, Tovar.
And no, Commissioner Tovar just started her first year of her 4-year term.
4 year, okay.
So she's only been on the commission now. She started her 5th month, and she is a breath of fresh air. She's been great. So we just need some help, and hopefully Lauren Kuby and I will get elected. I will get reelected, and she'll get elected. And you're going to see some changes made when it comes to climate change and saving our environment.
And Lauren Kuby will be presenting to us, right, George, soon?
Yeah, there were a lot of celebration kind of going on here because we've been in touch with Laura. Yeah, we're excited to hear that she's your running mate. Will be speaking to us in the month of June on clean energy.
Right.
Well, good. You will love her like I do.
And we do. So thank you. It is now 4:00, and we don't want to keep Sandra here any longer unless somebody else has some more questions. I want to thank everybody for being here with us today and for attending. Next time, invite a friend. We would like to have our meeting, more attendance at our meeting. Our next meeting will be May the 22nd, and we will have Terry Bracey, who was the campaign manager for Mo Udall, and he writes for the Arizona Star. So we're excited to have Terry here. Mark your calendar. We have some great speakers coming up. We always meet. Our programs are on each month on the second and fourth Saturday at 3 p.m. So you can always mark your calendar for those. In June, we will have Vivian Hart from the League of Women Voters presenting information on the 22 bills on voter suppression and voter expansion. Then followed by Lauren Kuby on clean energy on our second program of the month of June. In July, we will have Lois Teasel, excuse me, easier for somebody else to say, from Sky Island on the Wall in southern Arizona and the environmental problems that it has caused. There will be no program in the month of August. If you have speaker suggestions you'd like me to know about, email me at santaritadems.com, and Paul and I will talk about it. For more fun and excitement, visit us on movie nights. Movie night for the month of May is May the 20th at 6 p.m. Get a chance to watch the movie, followed by an open discussion on the movie and current events. You can find all those links to any of our programs on our website. That is greenvalleydems.org. And we thank you all for being here. Paul, anything else you'd like to add?
Just that the movie night this month is going to be about the wall and border issues. So tune in. Bring your popcorn.
This has been George McGaffey and Paul McCurry. We thank you for being a part of us. Have a great weekend and be safe out there, everybody.